Okay, so we are on week 4 on our journey. This is just this is where we start to tip over from we're clearing things out.
Sorry.
We start clearing things out at the beginning. Then we reconnect with our love, with and clearing more stuff out. Then we reconnect. Last week was all about learning to love her, learning about her, and making sure that she's the most important part, that we fill that up before we can start giving. So tonight's training, or today's training, or whatever you're listening to this, is about how do you do that on a daily basis. Because it's all well good and good having big lofty goals about life, but if you're not actually figuring out how to ask for what you want on a daily basis, then that's where we can get stuck. So this week we are talking about daily doings. How do you do it daily? So we're covering 2 things. Intentional living, which is the distinction between living in hope, where we just sort of put it out there that there's sort of generalizations about life, and living intentionally, about being really clearly specific about what it is that we want. And the second part is stacking the cards in your favor. And this is kind of taking that intentional side of life and then putting those in place for you. So it's quite a thorough training. So I really want at the end of it for you to be really knowing what it is that you want and how you can plan accordingly to the bits that you already know for your success. Bearing in mind that this is all balanced on what you've learned already about yourself. And so make sure that if you're still working through some things, go back and revisit some of the trainings. Make sure that you've downloaded them somewhere, that you know where they are, and you can just listen to them, even just listen to the audio. Because as much as my slides are wonderful, it's the audio that you really need. So have a look at those. So if you've really kind of sort of still looking at thinking, oh, I'm not really getting that, maybe just go back to the beginning and just revisit. Because when you go back and revisit it, and even in a couple of months' time, you'll look at it and go, oh, look how different I feel about that area of my life now. Because it'll always be changing. We're always growing, always developing, staying curious about life. So this week, let's start intentional living. So what does it mean, the difference between intention versus hope? So if you live an intentional life, it means that my mentor always used to describe it as, how do you know someone's true intentions? And you know that by the actions that they create. That's what people's intentions. And the difference between that and hope is that you might kind of hope that things change, or, well, I hope to get that job, or I hope to get paid, or I hope to learn this in the next 6 weeks, or I hope to finish it by the time so I can graduate, or I hope that I find someone that fulfills me, or I hope to get rid of this shit by the end of the week. Or it's not specific. It's not that there isn't an action. That the difference between hope and intention, hope is very personal to you and how you feel about it. Intention is very clear, it's very clean. You could hand it over to me and I could know exactly what you want and deliver it. There are other, when you're in hope, it's kind of that you're hoping that there's an interpretation going on of those actions. So how do you know, like I was saying, how do you know what someone's true intention is? It's the results. It's the results, the impact and the feeling on, are you getting what you want, or are you just hoping for it? So the results are really tangible. They're really clear and specific. Kind of like a bit, I'm not even going to say it really. Well, no, I've said it. Smart goal. It's the impact. Like, what impact do you want to make? What's the feeling? But be really clear about it. The more clearer you can get about what your goals are, what you want out of life, make it real for you. Like, what are the results? What's the impact on you and on the other people around you? And what's the feeling you're going to get from it? The feelings come from your thinking, of course, but it really helps you to make that why really clear about what it is that you want. And we'll see, and the difference in that and hope is that hope becomes really general. It becomes unspecific. It becomes a bit, hungry going to Tesco's again, or hungry saying, no, I'd really like a Chinese, and I like prawns on it, and I don't want any chicken in it, and I want, I really like this, and I really like that, and I don't like this. So it's really specific. You're going to get what you want when you're really, really clear about it. What do you know? So be clear on the outcome that you want to create. So if someone says to me, I want a new job, not really clear. But if I want a new job that includes me working with people, I want to work from 9 till 3 on a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I want it to pay me, 50 grand, 60 grand, 70 grand, 100 grand. I want to, it becomes really clear. There are not anything generic about it. I want to work with people aged between 35 and 50. I want to work with women. I want to work. So it becomes really easy then to find that. If there's any generic parts of your attention, I just want a job. I want a job. I want to work with people. That's what people come to me. I really like working with people. Okay, let's narrow it down a bit. What do you really want? When you say you want to work with people, you want to work with a lot of people, young people, old people? What kind of people do you want to work with? Do you want to work with outgoing people? Do you want to work with loud people? Do you want to lead people? Do you want to follow people? What is it about that you want to do? And where is it working already? In your life at this moment, the clues are there. Sometimes working with people in my life is a bit like a Cluedo board. It's like the clues there. Right, your life is full of clues for you. You're leaving them and littering them everywhere. So think about it. It's like, what's working already? How do you know the things that you're getting what you want? Have a look about why is it that you're getting those things? There are patterns in that. There are patterns there, or patterns in the past that things have worked for you that you can then see and think, oh, okay, that worked. How's that working now? What is it that I did to create that? And then we just need to pull that out and just put it where you're not getting it and go, right, okay, where's the gaps between this shining example and this one over here that's not kind of working? And this one's got some gaps. Where do we know? And when we're looking for outcomes, remember to sort of just check in with your senses sometimes. Because the reason why I keep talking about senses is because it's connected at a deeper level. It will keep you in present time. Who are you now? Because when you're talking about the senses, if I ask you about your senses, you're not going to go, into the future, I'd like to smell roses every day. You're just like, well, what's going on now? And it will get you in the moment. And most of the time, we don't live in the moment. I really want you to know about the outcome of that's those senses that you like now. They're like, okay, what is it that you love about those things? So how can we create that in the future? So it's really, it's a tangible thing, because you know that when you smell it, you'll smell it. You can't, I really like the smell of roses, and then the smell of orchids, no, it is orchids, one of them that's really smelly. Those ones are not roses. And you'll know because you're really clear about it and be specific about it. So, it will help you to create and be more intentional about it. Things that you know already. It's a quote. So if you ever read that quote, while I'm glugging water, excellence is never an accident. It's always the result of high intention, sincere effort. Because when you know what it is, you can make as much effort. When it's really clear, it's really easy to work effectively and efficiently towards something, because you'll get the results, because you're clear about what the results are that you want. Intelligent execution, i.e. you're very effective and efficient about it. It represents a wise choice of many alternatives. Choice, not chance. The difference in choice is when you're being intentional, and chance when you're being hopeful. that I'm hopeful that I get a hopeful, I hope that I grow that business. I'm hopeful that I film my retreat. I'm hopeful about that. No, I will, because this is what I'm doing to make sure that that happens. So intend, maybe that should be intent. I don't know. I always like to leave some error in things. And I don't know, my slides have decided tonight to put bubbles in. Why this is, I have no idea, just to irritate me, I think. But anyway, intend and visualize. So this is all about what you really want. When you came into this class, and it was about shifting the shit and getting what you really want. When you shift everything out, which we did, and we cleared everything out, and then we look for what it is that we want. We look for what we found out what we love about things, and then we find out how to recreate that. And then now intention is this is all about what you really want. It's about understanding your intentions, because before you were living in hope and probably be quite intentional about creating some kind of shit in your life. Thought patterns, which then create stuff all around us. What we really need to do is about being really clear what that is and what is not your intention. So we need to look at all those bits that you were creating that you think, actually, good God, I didn't realise that by me being non-specific or just letting things ride because I was too frightened to look at them, they mount up. And then they overtake, and then they become this burdening part of your life that just sits there going, oh God, I've got to clear out all of this now. So being clear about what it is that you want and what it's not your intention. And to make sure you see the difference between the two. So when you get curious, part of what I really want you to take away the training is to be curious, to look at life afresh, look at every day anew, and just see what's there now, not what you think is there or what you think is going to be there that was there yesterday and 25 years prior to that, or what you think is going to be there next week or the week after. What is there today? And where are you living in hope that things are going to change? And where in the past where you've taken an action and you've got intentional about the changes that you wanted to make. And I want you to really look about the differences in what is hope and what is intention. And if there's any areas around that you kind of really need to journal about that change, about that look of how different that is. So in the areas, remember what we're looking at is sort of make sure you're journaling about, because there'll be some areas that you've clickety split. I've got it. Don't need to look at that. That's fine. I'm getting that. But what I want you to look at is to revisit those, to see where the patterns are, to see that you can say, oh, okay, I can see that's working because I do this. I'm really clear about this. I'm really clear about that. I've got boundaries in place. I know what I'm doing. We just strip those out and go okay, I'm going to take that framework and put it over here. What's missing? And where is that? So when in your journal, I want you to be looking at your home. What's working, what's not working? Where are you living? And the hope, thinking, oh, it's going to change. I'm going to give it a year to see how that is. Or, I'm going to do so-and-so for a while. In your work, let's face it, people that generally are attracted to me and are watching this, if you're watching this and your work life is generally something that you've chosen to do, entrepreneurial people who want to make decisions about their business, their career. So it's like, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to be doing? Are you being utilized? Or have you created a business where you're ended up being pushed into an area that you don't really have so much play about? For me, as an example, is that I love to be doing trainings. I love to be working with clients. I love to be do I want to be setting up systems and everything else? Not really. I can do it. We can all do it. But where do we want to be living more intentionally about? Do I hope that that's going to change? No. In my plan this year is to make sure that I have someone to do that for me. So I don't have to do that bit, so I can do more of the other stuff. Where is that happening in your life? whether it's for a job, whether it's for your own business. Where is it hopeful? Where is it intentional? Just, even if you think there's a lot of hope there, oh my God, I've got a lot of chance to change, just to start owning it. Remember, just go back to what we've been learning. The first part of it is to be conscious of that change. And sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes it's just a case of like, this is what I don't want this. I want to look at doing that like this. And that might just be it. It might not be you need to lead this huge plan of action. It might just be like, I'm going to let go of this. And then something else can open up. Play and self-care. I'd like to sort of throw those in together, really, because it's like, well, where are you playing? Where are you not? Like I had, a very good friend of mine the other day was like, oh, it's been a month. I said, what are you doing to change? She's like, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I was like, oh, I think I might give sugar, everything. And I said, well, I might do this or I might do that. And she's like, have you noticed that yours are all like, mine are ads and yours are kind of like negatives? I was like, oh, it's a good catch for me, because that is where I will default. It'll be something bad, something naughty, something, you think, oh, how is that? So we all have to catch. It's like, where are you going to catch yourself? That where's the hope that that's going to happen, and where's the self-care? What are your intentions about it? And are those intentions playful? Are they fun? Are they something that you want to be doing? Sometimes we have to play at that. It's like, come on, when does she get to come out to play? Like for me, it was like, right, okay, I've downloaded some songs and I get to play and sing as loud as I can in the kitchen or in the car. And every day I need to sing and dance, around a lot, because I get to move, I get to sing, I get to unleash that funny, quirky side of me, and it's good. It's good for me. A health plan, like what, where are you hoping that you lose weight? Where are you hoping that you're going to find the perfect thing that you like to do that's does this and this and this and this and this, and therefore it's perfect for you to then love your health plan? Or you just decide and get intentional about creating that. I was looking earlier on about somebody living in hope versus somebody living in intention, and it was a post in a group, and I posted it, and it was really interesting of watching how when you're a leader and you know that you have to lead and you don't, and that's an uncomfortable place for you to be, is that you're still looking for somebody else to come along and say, shall we? Instead of you stepping forward and saying, shall we? Because you get to that stage in your life when actually you know that you've got to go into that next level. It's like you have to lead and invite. And the same with intention. It's like, what's your intention? Where do you need to lead? Where do you need to push yourself forward? Instead of living in hope that somebody else is going to say, you should push yourself forward. They're very different feelings. So that was intention. And those that we're just going to go back. They're the things I'd like you to journal on regarding the hope and intention. And now what we're going to talk about is stacking the cards in your favor. This is one of my favorite things actually to do. I'm just going to drink. Now this is a very simple concept, really. We're going to go through it, and you'll see my goal for you at the end is to see where you can do a lot of things differently so you can free up more energy in your life. So in the hospital, I'll give you this because obviously my background is in hospital management, and there's a difference between it being planned and unplanned. So like a plan versus acute is what we would call it in a hospital. So there's lots of things that an activity that can be done in a hospital. And as you can imagine, a hospital is quite a complex beast. I would say probably one of the most complex beasts there are to organise. But the thing is, a lot of the activity is planned, and so we can stack the cards in terms of as an example, so if I was running an orthopedic service, there's hips and knees and carpal tunnels, all the different things that that when you go to the GP refers, you go to the consultant puts you on his list. So on that list, so say there's a list, he'll put you on, so say you're going to have your knee replaced, you go on the list and everything has to be planned according to, so there'll be an admin clerk to pull the notes, there'll be a secretary to book the appointment, there'll be a secretary to send you the appointment, and she'll also send you the appointment for pre-clerking. There'll be a pre-clerk nurse, there'll be a pre-clerk admin person, and you'll go to pre-clerking. So that's that. So once you've gone through that, then you'll get booked onto the theatre list. You'll get so there'll be a theatre sister, there'll be a whole theatre crew that needs and a consultant, and then obviously there's a follow-up, etc., etc. So there's lots of procedures that we know to happen. Then you've got an inpatient stay and all the things that go on with your inpatient stay. If you need to stay in, it might be day surgery, but there's all these different things that we know. A knee equals this. We can cost it, we can work it out, we know what needs to be done, and it's a very fine line about what could possibly go wrong. It's planned. And then there's a difference between somebody smashing their car and screwing up their knee, and then being an orthopedic surgeon. Also there'll be a trauma surgeon in there, because obviously it's a trauma, and it'll be done now. We need all hands on deck. We're going to cut out all that bit at the front. We're literally going into surgery now to save this knee. And that's the difference between stacking the cards, planning your life. So any changes that happen, you can act on it. You can start to use more energy in the creative part of life, and you can take out all of this stress and the drama from the other side. Well, exactly. Why does it cost not to stack the cards? So there's a lot of drama that's involved in a lot of people's lives. Why do we have a lot of drama? It's because we crave attention. And if we're not getting our attention from the positive sides of life, we will create drama with things that really don't matter. So there'll be a lot of drama involved. And you'll know if that's you or not. You'll be kind of like, yeah, that's me. And I want you to really own it. I want you to really look at what happens. What's your story? What's your, who is that character? What happens when she comes out? And why is it that she comes out? What is it that you're desiring to get attention for when you're creating a drama about a situation? Is it something that you haven't planned for, or is it an acute system? Is it something that are you using your creativity, or are you just using a lot of energy about something that wasn't planned well enough and you messed up? And if that's the case, if that's a pattern, I want you to really look at it and go, right, okay, how is it that I do that every time? This comes up, it's like being A plus B equals C. Oh, drama. Like, okay, A plus B, we got there, right? Okay, between B and C, is there drama between A and B? No, that's fine. Okay. Between B and C, I get caught up in there. Okay, let's pull that apart and chunk it down to see what part of it is the drama. Because what happens is we can look at it and go, it's stressful. I'm anxious about this, or I'm anxious about that, or I can't do that. I've got a lot of fear about that, or I'm concerned about that. And it becomes the whole thing, like an umbrella term. And actually, we just pull it apart, like really strip it back, and really be specific about what part of it is the drama, what part of it is causing the stress. Because it won't be all of it, but what we do. It's like, like I'm sure I've told you already, it's like it's become a shit soup. So you've got this great life, it's all going brilliant, but because we've got a little bit of a turd in the end of it, it becomes a bit shitty. We don't want that. What else does it cost? It costs us a lot of time, because we can be going backwards and forwards. Oh, I should have got that. I didn't get that. Okay, I'm going to do that. Okay, right. Okay. So, well, we cut out all of the bits that we don't want and looking at what we do, we can cut out a lot of that time. And like I've already said, stress about those situations. That we don't want all of that. It's like, how, if you're being stressed about situations and yet you're walking into them knowing that they're stressful, and it's kind of like this agreement. Oh, I'm so stressed, this is happening. Okay, what's stressful about it? What is it? Let's pull it all back. It might, I'm saying to you, there's going to be something that's stressful about it, but not the whole thing. And just have a look at the things in your life at the moment that you're thinking, oh God, and you're avoiding because you don't want to do them. And break it down. There's a lot in there that you can plan that is like water off a duck's back. Done it. Tick, 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 tick. And there are other things that you think, oh, I don't really know, I love it. But you kind of just have to just pull that apart and just, then look at that aside. And that's when we need to ask for help, etc. But it's because we really kind of pull apart our intention about hope, or we're just going to go into the same situation hoping that it's not stressful. Oh, ding dangle, there we go. Oh, then it's the agreement of like, oh, I knew it was going to be. I knew I was going to get stressed about this. Blah, 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 blah. You go, oh, you knew, did you? Interesting. Is that an intention? Are you being stressed about this? Or how can we actually roll it back a bit and look at, right, this is what we're going to create. Are we clear about what I want to create? And how do I want to feel about that? How do I want to feel about that? What am I going to create? The last part, unwanted attention or misplaced attention. Oh, I have this. Please know that I am stressed. So this is kind of an interesting one. This is about when you, instead of articulating what it is that you want, you can articulate it in a different way. So like the drama, it's a similar vein to the drama, but it can be, but it's more palatable. I won't say that I'm upset. I don't know why I'm upset, but now I'm sick. And it's easier for me to say, I'm tired, I need a couple of days off, than it is that, but what will happen is that I'll just say that I'm sick. Then I will let myself off to be able to have that time off, and then I can have that time that I need. Or please know that I'm stressed when this is happening. It becomes so when you're not asking for what you want, or you walk in the door and you've got a bit of a drama going on. I've got a bit of a thing going on, or I'm walking along and I don't, or I walk in and I don't say hello, which is not a normal thing to do when you walk into your home, especially if you don't know people there. Clearly you don't say hello to an empty house, or maybe you do, I don't know, or maybe you say hello to your dogs. I don't know. I know I do. But what I'm talking about is when you walk in and and you act differently. So you're asking for attention, but you're not saying it. So there's the stack the cards in this is about looking for when you're pulling out, because you don't really know what it is what's causing it. It's about when you pull it all back and you look at the blocks that have created this situation, you can pull it apart and go, oh, this was what pissed me off. And I can walk in and go, look, I'm really tired, I just need this. Because you stack the cards. Stack the cards can be self-care. Stack the cards can be just asking for what it is that you want, rather than going in hope that by you not talking to anybody when you first walk in the door, that people are going to interpret that for you needing this, rather than you being really clear or stacking the cards that you've had a busy day and you would like to have a bath, and you've decided that that's not possible because the kids need feeding and everything else, so therefore you're going to sulk a bit until you get to the time when you have a bath. It's about looking at your whole life and looking through it and going, right, okay, what parts of it can I change? What parts of it do I need to own up and be more responsible for? So what do you already know in your life now? What can you plan for success already? What's working? What's working already? Where are you already doing these things? Where are you kind of, yeah, okay, I'm doing that, Kerry. I know exactly how that's going. And what outcomes are guaranteed if you do plan for these? No, I'm not talking about planning for 5 years in success. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about more like habits and plans that work for you now. That you get what you want and you can be playful and generous with them while you're living them. What do you need to agree to do no matter what? So some of those things are kind of uncomfortable. And just sit with that of like, that you need to agree to be more responsible with who you are, as well as asking other people for them to step up to be who they are. And sometimes it's more about you than it is about asking for anybody else, because once you see what you need, it becomes easier to be able to to take that burden off of other people. Because so often we want to, we're lacking, therefore you must. Rather than, I'm lacking, what do I need to do to be able to agree that that's what's needed? And again, what does it look, feel, smell, hear, taste like to you? What does it do? What are those things that you already do? Then they're never, this isn't complicated, but what this really kind of think about all the things that are already working in your life, and you just kind of need to just pull them apart and go, well, that it really works. And how is it that works? And the other thing, okay, well, these things happen. I'm really clear about it. I know this, and I'm also quite ruthless about that happens. Like as an example, if I need a nap, I'll have a nap. I'll just say, I'm going for a nap. And it took me a long time to be able to say that. Because it was kind of, I thought, there was all these other considerations. I can't have a nap because what's everybody going to think of me? And I don't know, I can't have a nap because I've got 2 kids. Is he going to cope? God, if I have a nap, that's not really fair for him. But if he said to me he was going to have a nap, then that would be all right. I would say, yeah, go and have a nap. I feel fine. We're doing this, whatever it is. The same as like sort of the things like I was training for a triathlon. It took me a really long time to ask to be okay that I was not only going to go for a bike ride, I was going to go for a run after. Oh my God. So forbid, you're going to ask for 2 things. How very dare you? But if you don't ask for what you want, you just don't get it. And you know what? It's like I was doing those things. He could see the impact in who I was while I was doing them, and he loved the impact. And your partners and your people around who love you will love the impact on you, because when you start to get what you want, you'll love yourself more. And the more you love yourself more, the more you can share that. So it's a win-win. But it has to start with you. You're the one that knows what you want. You're the one that knows inside. You're the one that is making up the bloody story, the reason why you can't do it. So what does it feel like? What does it taste like? What does all those, just create that story, whatever it is your way of doing it. Just really put it together. And how can you chunk it all together? What's it, when you kind of pull it all apart, these are the bits, these are the, the stop points, like in terms of thinking about like the going back to sort of like a clinic or anything that you want to do. Is like, how do you just fix it all together so you kind of go, right, okay, I really want this significant change. It's like, right, okay, what's the bits that I know? So it's like, think about as an ingredient. It's like, well, what have I got in my cupboard and what do I need to shop for? What do I need to shop for and how do I need to be specific? I want to make this amazing dish and it's got this really specific flour. You're not just going to send, the person who's least observant in your house to go and get the flour and they come back with some, Tesco's own plain. I didn't want that. I wanted organic wheat germ that's, finely rolled. I mean, I can't make the special cake without this. What does it all mean? And put it all together, put all the bits together that you know that you want. And honestly, this is the easiest win, because there'll be bits of this that you already do, but when you realize that you're responsible for your happiness, it might be just a plan all it takes. Because when you start to own it, we now know we've cleared out all the stuff you don't want. We kept clearing it out, looking at all the thoughts and the things that you keep creating, stopping all of that, falling in love with you, knowing what you love, really kind of working on that, being really conscious now. I love to do this. I'm not doing it. I'm going to ask for more. Not, I really hope that this is going to change soon. And just, it's been like this for 5 years now. And maybe a plan is all that it takes, but a plan that's connected. It's not just, right, I've got to have a plan to earn £50,000 and it's just going to jump into my lap. It's like, be your own project manager, but be your connected project manager. It's not about overcoming stuff that's just sort of, I'm just going to bridge over that because I don't want to deal with that. What needs to be done? What, and the outlines, the lists. Is it that you're going to draw things? Really look at how you would project manage something. Like really look at how do you put it all together? And it might be lists, it might be you need to draw it, you need to just visualize it more before you can figure it out. And visualize it sometimes if the picture isn't 100% clear, it doesn't mean that you can't still visualize. It just means that you visualize it with that gap. There's no rule about it being the whole picture, because I used to have that rule, and I know that that's a real a caveat to, well, I don't really see it all, so I can't really do it. But no, you can see parts of it, and let's just create parts of it, because then at least we're moving on. We're moving towards what you want, rather than going, oh, sorry, the dream is not on the shelf today, so looks like I'm staying in a shitty old job that I don't like. Number 2, I've got a list. I've got numbers. I should be following this. Do you need to organise beforehand? So if you've got a project and what so many things you can do beforehand, so many things you can plan to make it a success. It's just like, it can be the simplest, smallest thing for any kind of thing. Like as an example, that sort of my partner had to get out the other day is an extra, and he had to be on set for 4:00, and I was like, right, we've got different things that, like a hot mug thing, and I said, so when I put all that out on the side for him, and and he's got the coffee there, so all he had to do was just boil the kettle, put that in there, and off he went. And his little face, he was so happy that he's, that might be really simple, and you might be rolling your eyes going, really? Well, I promise you, there are so many small little things that you can do in your life when you stack the cards in your own favor. But we don't. It's kind of our way of beating ourselves up, and it can be really small little things, like sort of this, this tin. I'm assuming I know it's not aluminium. Water canister. I had a lovely glass one. I was like, I need a glass water canister. This tin, like it's last, I don't know, it must be at least 6 months old now. I love it. It's cool. It's got a really nice opening to the drinking thing, and it stops us from buying plastic cups. And I use it everywhere. I use it on my calls, everywhere. And it becomes a very simple thing that you can buy and do to make your life easier. What happens is to have a look around at your life and see where there's so many of those things that you can strategize beforehand. And it hasn't got to be a huge thing. It's just to look and go, right, okay, where do I get lost in the drama of creating stuff that I could just strip out, so that creative energy is put to use where it needs to be creative. You don't need to be creative and everything else about leaving sandwiches to the last minute. It's sandwiches. It happens every day. It's like not preparing for Christmas, going, oh my God, I've got no presents. Oh my God, oh, it's terrible. Why didn't we go out? Oh, it's just, you don't need to be doing any of that. Why does it always happen? It's like prevent it rather than having to respond to it. Can you ask for more of what you want before, instead of waiting for the outcomes? Just like I don't know if I've given this example of, a friend of mine. It was her 40th birthday, and she was like, I really want this bracelet, and I'd really love to go to this restaurant. And I was like, oh, that sounds great. She says, yeah. She said, but my husband won't do that. I said, well, you won't do it because you can't afford it, or you won't do it because of, why wouldn't he do that? She said, well, he would do it if I told him. So you're not going to tell him what you want? Well, no, it's a bit rude, isn't it, to tell somebody what you want? So I said, so you're going to get something that you don't want. So then you're going to have a conversation about you pretending that you like the present that they've got you, even though it's not what you really wanted. And then you're going to go to a restaurant that you would prefer to go to a different restaurant. And then you're going to pretend again and compromise who you are and what you want to please somebody else, even though it's your birthday. Your fear of asking for what you want. And I can tell you that I have that conversation countless times with people of, well, they should know, especially relationships. So I'm sure that I'm talking to you now and you're thinking, oh my God, that's me. It's a very rare relationship where people are actually articulating what they want, how they want it, and everything else. Because I can tell you now, that idea, that romanticism of, oh, he knows me so well, happens quite rarely. But when it does, or even if you've told somebody what you want, the idea that you had to tell them is left on the wayside when you're looking at the present and the party and the anything else that you wanted, or the massage that you wanted, or any part of your relationship in a loving relationship, or in any relationship, of actually being specific about what you want, rather than wasting that time and energy on having to course correct. When we step into that role of knowing what we want and actually articulating it, we cut out all of that energy, that ball of energy that can be just put to use somewhere else. So, what do you already know? Plan your list, plan your week. There's so much in our week that even if you don't want to be one of those people that plans your menu, or you don't want to plan your menu every week, it's just like, oh, well, I don't like to do that. I like to have a little bit of freedom. Well, plan to have all the ingredients so you can have that freedom if you like to create on the night. Or decide that you're going to plan Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Friday, or whatever it is. What I'm asking you to do is just to strip out all of the things that you don't need to be wasting your time on. Leave nothing out. Add in self-care. Like, what those things that you know that you need to do. I mean, I know that I'm a better human being if I have a bath at least once a week. I do shower on the other days, just in case you were thinking I didn't. But I honestly, my partner, I get out of the bath and he's like, oh my God, you look like you're 12, which, approaching 50. I quite like the idea of that. Add in, and sleep. How much sleep do you know you need? And what are you doing to make sure you get that? I had a conversation the other day with somebody. My partner, games until later on. I'm like, well, I can sleep in the spare room. Have the boundaries of what do you need to live your life, to be who you know that you can be. Because you're here for magnificent things. But if you're compromising to potentially accommodate what you think, i.e. the illusion of what somebody else thinks that they want, you're both compromising. You're both getting a little bit of what you want, but a whole lot of what you don't. So add in your time, add in soothe me again for potential stresses. What are they? If you're going to look at your week and go, right, okay, this part, okay, Wednesday, I'm going to be doing this and everything else. So I'll know that I need to be getting up to getting some good night on Tuesday night. So that means I need to be, planning it, looking at your week and owning it, being responsible for you. Early nights, bath, walking shoes and time. If you're not going to have time to go and exercise, maybe it's the fact that you go and walk somewhere, and then if you need those things, it's like, well, what do you need? What do I need to know that I need to take with me? Okay, if I'm going away, I need to make sure that I take nuts with me, because that's always something that I love to have as a snack. And if it's not there, I will have chocolate. And if I have chocolate, probably it's never a good thing. But what do you know that you need? They're your things. And it's unfair to ask what other people think that should be. It's lovely when somebody else knows you well enough to be able to give those things to you. But that shouldn't be an expectation. That should be yours, not theirs. So we're on now journaling homework. I want you to list out where you're noticing hope versus intention. Like we started off, it's like, where are you living in hope? Where is that? Where is that kind of that part of the difference in your life that's going on? It's just like, where is that hope? Where is it that you're really not specific enough? Look at the previous results and where you thought that you were clear and you weren't, and you had to reassess. What if you took responsibility for that and thought, oh my God, actually, I thought I was clear about that, but it was kind of right, but it was just a little bit off. Where was it off? Where was I not clear? Where was it that I should have said no at some point? That's a really good one. So where is it that you have to kind of look at it and go, oh, I should have said no there. And I just let it go on. For what? For fear of upsetting somebody, for fear of being seen as something that you are uncomfortable with being seen as. Really look and pin down those reasons of what it was. Notice what you can now do differently. Now you can see patterns of emerging of what are you going to now do differently. Don't make this into a huge to-do list, because part of it should be recognizing where things are working and then just looking and going, I can now see where I create dramas that needlessly be. Remember to look at all areas of your life and then get a list of like stacking the cards, all the things that you know that you can now do. Remember, this is your responsibility to prevent stress and overwhelm, because we can plan so much of our lives. Honestly, like you'll be amazed at how much that we can, like, it's like thinking about like your life as this crazy messy suitcase, and actually when you work it out and you recondo it and you roll everything up and stack it all in, it's like, whoa, look at all that space I've got to put all these other things in here that I want to be doing with that time and energy. It's amazing. Do it in your work, your business, and your study. What about all the things that you're kind of doing and you're just doing them ineffectively? And your home, making sure that home really works for you. And the next week, we are pulling it all together. We call it, you got this. We're going to pull everything together, and then we're going to make a plan for you. So for this week, I really want you to be looking at all of those things that we've talked about, hope versus intention, all the stack of the cards. You've got your journal homework. Making sure that you really read up on all of that you now know that you need to be doing. So have a good week, and I will see you all next week. Hello.